yes, you
Jim,
are.
I
So
want to
that's
break
what's
in. I
gonna
want to move on
replace
to
it.
something specific that I heard the two sides clash on in their opening statements, and that was the part that education is playing in this debate. The team arguing to bet on America talked about the much vaunted American education system, and the opponents argue that there are real problems with education. So let's start with the opponents, your argument about access to education in the middle class.
Okay, so first of all, there was a point made, which I totally agree with, about the excellence of American elite universities. Your universities are great. I went to Harvard. I loved it. The problem with American education is a symptom of this wider problem of the hollowed out middle class. American education isn't delivering to the people at the bottom and the middle. And that's, everyone in this room is going to agree with that. It's whether you're on the right or the left, that's the case. And in a winner-take-all economy, which is today's high-tech economy, that means that social opportunity is being blocked too.
Did you pay your way at Harvard?
No, I got scholarships.
Aha.
From the province of Alberta.
Let me give you a number. 60.
Thank you, Sandy McTaggart.
60% of the so-called elite universities, 60% of the students are getting scholarships in one way or another. This is probably the best ladder of advancement you can get, is the so-called American elite universities. When I look at these kids in my seminar at Stanford, and I blame them for not knowing American history, and then they all look up and I see Korea, China, India, and so on. So that is one thing. One other point. Once people concede the best universities in the world, they say, yes, but what about secondary education? Again, one has to look at the numbers. Most Americans don't know it, but there's an regular OECD study called PISA, Program of International Student Assessment. And lo and behold, that maligned American high school, when it comes to reading and math skills, these kids are pretty much in the middle with Italians, French, Israelis are far down, and Germans. So that American state school system, which has been maligned for the last 100 years, is delivering pretty good stuff. At least it is not, as everybody thinks, at the rock bottom.